Around the Coast with Dennis McNeil. Have you got a minute with Downtown Radio and Downtown Country? We get local. Proud to broadcast all over the Causeway Coast.
Now you'll be forgiven for thinking that we're in the company this morning of Johnny Cash, one of the world's best known, best loved, most popular musicians, indeed a man who sold more than 90 million records. This morning we're going to meet a guy from the Causeway Coast who's our answer to the man in black. Joining me now is David Kelly. David, you are a Johnny Cash fan. You have plans to do some kind of trip or tour as or in celebration of Johnny Cash. Before we come to that, take me back. How, where, when did this whole idea begin?
Well, I really just grew up a Johnny Cash fan, and then when he did some work with U2 in the 90s, that just reawakened that interest. But lately I've been to a few tribute acts, and I just thought this is a great entertainment show, but how about we use it to bring a bit of hope and inspiration into people's lives by telling the Johnny Cash story. So it's developed into a story and song event.
What part of Johnny Cash's life, and we know he had his demons, what part of his life or what part of the Johnny Cash story gets you, appeals to you?
I think it's the mental illness aspect, the fact he went into a cave to end his life, and that's been my struggle with depression and things like that. Growing up in a dysfunctional family, struggling with addiction, the aftermath of abuse, really resonated with me, so I identify with his story. And then because I found answers to my issues, I have an obligation to try and just inspire others.
Do you, or have you found answers to your issues in Johnny Cash's life story, or is it specifically in his music or some of his songs?
It's a bit of both, really. I've explored faith, and I've explored the stories of others, and I've just gleaned a lot of wisdom and advice from those avenues, and I've been on a healing journey myself. But Johnny Cash is just someone I can really relate to, and I believe there's a lot in that story for others.
And of course he covers a whole series of types of music, many genres, from rock to rock and roll to country and western, gospel. Are you easily slipping into and fitting into that sort of category of just a wee bit of everything?
Yes, I wasn't really a big country fan, I'm sorry to say, but I'm a very through and through country fan now. Johnny Cash is kind of cool country, I call it, and I love that. I love the rock stuff, I love the blues influence stuff and the gospel stuff. It's all there.
Oh, what is it about Johnny Cash, in spite of the rights and wrongs, and many of which there may have been throughout his life, what is it that brings him to you and lets you bring him to other people?
I don't know. I think he was a vulnerable character. He was very open and honest about his own demons. He had many failings and falls, and he struggled with mental illness, with addiction, infidelity. He struggled with drug addiction, and he has been open and broken about that. So that just opens others to that story and allows them to resonate with him.
And where have you been so far with your... Is it going to be called something like the Johnny Cash story or Johnny Cash tribute act, or what?
It's like Johnny Cash story and song, or sometimes I use the strap line that Johnny Cash himself used at Glastonbury, Johnny Cash Sin and Redemption. So really about his journey from brokenness and wanting to end his life to finding hope and faith and to finding stability.
And where have you been? Where have you played?
I've been over in Glasgow, I've been in London, I've been in South England, down the south of Ireland, around the south of Ireland, but mostly Northern Ireland, playing in coffee houses, houses of worship, and playing in community hubs. It's a very cross-community event, and it's very non-threatening. It's not in people's face. It's quite a gentle presentation of the hope and inspiration that I found and that Johnny Cash found.
And how have you been received? What's the reaction been like?
It's been really encouraging. It's been very surprising. Lots of full houses. and lots of people coming up afterwards and wanting to connect and wanting to tell their stories. Part of what our job is, as someone that wants to bring hope and inspiration, is just to listen to people's stories. Everybody has a story, and then sometimes you get the opportunity to share your own story and how you found hope and help.
Okay, and finally this morning, David Kelly, just before you play us out with another Johnny Cash song, give us some details of where and when you hope to be going on the road again.
Okay. The next block of dates is over in Scotland, in the Glasgow area. I'll be going over there on the 23rd of November and playing some different venues.
Okay. David Kelly, thank you very much indeed. Before David plays us out with another well-known Johnny Cash song for Causeway Coast community in association with Downtown Radio, with the Causeway Coast answer to the Man in Black, I'm Dennis McNeil.
Well, you wonder why I always dress in black, why you never see bright colors on my back. Why does my appearance seem to have a somber tone? Well, there's a reason for the things I have on. I'll wear the black for the poor and the beaten down, living in the hopeless, hungry side of town. I'll wear it for the prisoner who has long paid for his crime, but he's there 'cause he's a victim of the time.
Around the Coast with Dennis McNeil. Have you got a minute with Downtown Radio and Downtown Country? We get local. Proud to broadcast all over the Causeway Coast.